you've solved a major production issue.
Hi, my name is Heather McClure, and I am a working scenic artist and an aspiring art director. I'm here with Dan to ask him some questions today. How you doing, Dan?
How are you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Great.
So my first question is, how does the development department deal with or relate to the art department on a given project?
That's actually a very interesting question, because the real answer is not enough. Most of the time, the development department tends to be its own little isolated ivory tower and doesn't really interface a lot with what goes on in production. And this is often to an aspiring development executive's detriment. And it's very important for them to know what happens in every department, particularly the art department, because the art department is one of those areas of production that everyone knows is there, but no one is really quite aware of what happens and how that can contribute so enormously to the success of a project. Let's say, for example, that you're wanting to do a story that takes place in a different era or a different period. The art department will do all of the research and will come up with the props and the sets and the costumes. And a lot of times, those props and sets and costumes might have been really something that the writers could have used to come up with a different angle on their story. Think of a mystery that because no one today uses old two-piece telephones, you could have had a solution that was somehow involved using a two-piece telephone or using one of those old answering machines or something like that, that an art department person is just going to know. Or an art department person can also get you out of trouble. Like, let's say that you're trying to write a script that seems very, very big, and you're thinking, there's no way we can afford to do this. Well, maybe you go and talk to the art department and they'll tell you, oh no, that's really simple. It's not going to cost us a lot of money to do that. Think in terms of the old Edgar Allan Poe movies that American International made. Those were all period pieces with period costumes, and yet they were extremely low-budget movies. If you went to an average development person and said, we're going to do a 17th century historical piece, they'd go, you're out of your mind. We don't have that kind of money. But yet, the art department says, oh, no, we can just repurpose this set. We have stuff from this movie that we can use again. This other film is being shot, and their stuff is available. And next thing you know, because of the art department's involvement, you've solved a major production issue. You've come up with different content. Because sometimes the art department or a location manager will say, oh, well, we have, you have this one scene that takes place in this location, and we actually have an ability to get this old mansion. And next thing you know, you have this incredible production value that's been added, and as a development person, you can write the script around that location now. So that interface between those two departments can be key. Another thing you can do is, let's say that you have a performer who is, shall we say, no longer an ingenue or a juvenile. And so you're having to come up with a way to still use them. They're not allowing their ego to say, you know what, you're really not 24 anymore, because I'm sorry, but 39 is not 24. And so what can we do? Well, a lot of times if you put that same person in a period costume, the age is no longer quite so apparent. Let's say that you have an actor who's a little bit older and you want them to play younger. Well, if you have a project that takes place in the Victorian era and they have a lot more facial hair, you cover up. So there's all these different ways that having that knowledge that the average art department person has as part of their toolkit that a development person desperately needs in order to make their job easier. So there's a lot of synergy between departments that, if there was more communication, would really enhance the production process and the creative process.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much for answering that question.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
All right.
Great.
Thank you.